Okay, so this is a summary of my unit plan, which is soccer. And using backwards design, I'm not familiar with it. I haven't done it in the past. So it was really interesting creating this whole unit using backwards design. The way I kind of structured it is that they'll learn from the basic skills of soccer. Like, really, we're going to start, what is a soccer ball? This is a soccer ball. This is how you manipulate it, to all the way to playing in several different versions of games related to soccer. So a quick summary. So the Missouri standards this meets is standard 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these standards will be met throughout every single lesson, and some in only week 2. So for example, the one that's going to be met in week 2 is standard 2. It says the physically literate individual applies knowledge of concepts, principles, strategies, and tactics related to movement and performance. So this will be related to week 2, because in week 2, we'll be able to apply what we've already learned, and then being able to demonstrate that in a wide variety of games. And then section 2 talks about unit goals and objectives. So the goal for K through 5 students is that they'll be able to apply their knowledge of their basic skills of soccer and be able to demonstrate it through a variety of games, as well as partner play in different games. And what I mean by that is they're going to pick partners and do a lot of things. And one of them with the partner game is partner passing. They're going to practice dribbling the ball and passing the ball to a partner. And then the students will also be able to practice team building skills throughout the entirety of the unit. The objectives for the first week, I want students to just learn the basics. Get the basics down. What is a midfielder? What's a header? How do we manipulate a soccer ball to go where we want? And that's also part of my pre-assessment. I'm going to see how they can move in open space with the soccer ball. And then the next step with that is, how can they move with that soccer ball with a cone in their way? How do they manipulate that? And then finally, it's going to be with a defender in their way. So they're going to be learning, each lesson is going to be more and more and more, where they're going to be learning different skills and improving on each one. So for the second week, we're going to be talking also about the skeletal system and how that relates to soccer as well. How it correlates to the skills of soccer. And then K through 5 students will also play warm-up games of zombie tag or lava monsters to get them kind of warmed up and ready to go for the day. Section 3 is the daily calendar. So we're going to be doing the soccer week 1. It's Monday through Wednesday, and the way it's set up, we have all kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes meet one time by Wednesday. So that's going to be their first class. So Monday through Wednesday is going to be the exact same lesson plan because they've never done it before. And then Thursday, Friday is going to be the second half of the week, where then we're really going to start to going at it and learning a lot of new soccer skills, and not just the basics, but then applying everything you've learned in a game. So the first one, we're just going to do a warm-up. We're going to stretch. We're going to introduce soccer with videos explaining how it differs from the USA and other countries. Like in Australia, it calls it football, and different rules and how they correlate between the USA and different countries. We're going to be mainly working on partner passing, dribbling, cone to cone, stopping the ball, shooting the ball, and rolling the ball back. And then we're going to do a cool down with a little fun way to end the class. And then the second part of week 1 is we're going to review the soccer skills, and then we're going to play a game called Sharks and Minnows, which is a very fun soccer game. And we're also going to do relay races with dribbling around cones and back. So it's going to be students are going to be really engaged throughout. Week 2, we're going to start to talk about the skeletal system, and then the games we're going to play is musical soccer cones and crazy ball soccer, another one, and then we'll do a cool down as well. And then finally, we're going to review the foot skills and then play a big game of crab soccer, and that involves a ball that is massive. It's huge. Students love it, and it's a really, really fun game where all students are involved in practicing the skills that they've learned throughout the week. And then if there's time at the end, we'll do a bonus game. So that they love that as well. And then the materials that I need are 30 soccer balls, 20 cones, sound system, 3 microphones, screen to connect the PowerPoint to, and then 4 pool noodles for the warm-up games. Some of the vocabulary terms I'll be using is pass, shoot, dribble, corner kick, midfield, midfielders, header, offense, defense, handball, kick, punt, things related to soccer. Some of the essential questions I'll ask is, how can you apply these skills to help you in a game? Some other ones are how can soccer improve physical fitness, and how does teamwork help someone in a game of soccer? And those are all DOK2, DOK3 questions. The guiding questions: what is a midfielder? How do you stop a ball? What is a rollback? So it's making them go back on what they've already learned, which are like DOK1 questions. I have a couple DOK2 questions. How does attitude affect physical fitness, or physical performance? And how do you properly perform a header? Stuff like that. We're going to talk about that as well. Section 7 talks about the unit implementation. So this is basically what I'm going to be asking them to do. I'll be asking them to demonstrate skills learned, dribble a ball around a cone, sharks and minnows, crazy ball soccer, musical soccer cones. Students will also be asked to practice shooting and stopping the ball and rolling the ball back, and ball handling skills. And those correlate directly with different unit objectives that I have labeled 1 through 8 in my unit plan. And then technology will be used throughout. It'll be used daily. It'll be used to basically explain what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and what we're learning. And as well as on a video slide presentation, it's going to have links to videos, links to the cooldown, rules of the game. It's going to be utilized every single day. And it'll be up there the whole time so they can see it and refer back to it if they need. As well as music will be playing a lot. And then describe the process of formative assessment. So the pre-assessment, like I said before, I'll ask them to show what they already know at the beginning of a class, and then I'll also assess how they're going to be able to move through space with different things in their way. A formative assessment, so students will be playing a variety of games, and we'll go around to assess how each student is performing the activity, and during this time, we'll correct anything that we need to and work individually with that person if corrections need to be made, and then make adjustments accordingly. And then the summative assessment, the summative assessment will basically be, it will follow at the end of each lesson, but then at the end of the unit, I would want students to be able to practice those or be able to perform and demonstrate those skills learned with about an 80 to an 85% success rate. And then, or 70% by the end of the first week. So 80 to 85 by the end of the second week. And I'll be giving them a score of 0 to 3. And during this assessment, they're not really going to be knowing they're going to be assessed. They're just going to be playing a game and not really secretly, but we're going to be going around and assessing those scores and giving those scores to the students. And then what it looks like is it's 0 to 3. So a 0 would be students rarely demonstrate the skills properly. 1 student demonstrates the skill with some success of the time, but has difficulty with the skill. 2 is the student demonstrates the skill with success most of the time and is able to properly show it in performance. And then 3 is student demonstrates effectiveness in the skill all of the time and is able to demonstrate it with little to no corrections. And I'm going to have to focus on how to actually do that. As far as the Excel sheet with students' names, post and pre and post data, that will be available starting the first day within the first week of the unit. We'll be assessing them as well. And then with differentiation and modification, so for students with struggling learners who have struggled learning, we can have them use bigger balls, bigger equipment. That's something I put in there. And then another thing I can do is have students be put in with groups with other students who have the skill level to properly explain what that student should do. And if that's done correctly, it also can help establish a bond and foster a friendship, possibly. And it also practices great leadership skills. For gifted learners, I can make a target smaller that they have to shoot at using the soccer ball. I could have them try and kick with their non-dominant foot, which is a fun one. Another thing I can do is have them kick from further back, or when they're practicing shooting, possibly have someone act as a goalie for them so they have something in their way. And then anyone with an IEP, if they have a BIP, I'll follow any instructions on that. I'll use modification to modify that those students, I'll modify what those students have to do in order to meet their skill level. And then in doing this, they're also learning the skills necessary, but it's modified to their needs. And then that's a basic draft of what I'm doing. I look forward to implementing this and seeing how this goes. Yeah, I think overall it was It was a lot of work constructing this, but it should be a lot of fun implementing it. Thanks so much.